find yourself waiting until circumstances are better, until things are different, until you've got it a little more figured out? Do you sometimes deal with a lack of motivation or drive? Well, let's jump into this today because I can help you fix this. I've lost half my body weight. It's taken 20 something years, but that's part of my story. I could have said, I don't want to start my business or be visible at all until I get my weight under control. Or I could say, because I'm intent on getting my weight under control, I'm going to go ahead and make myself visible and hold myself accountable and keep working at it in the meantime for some of my own intrinsic pressure and extrinsic pressure. So, how can you flip that and self manage and self coach so that you don't feel overwhelmed by reasons and excuses, but instead you turn those into your fuel? I read a book recently, and to be fair, I only read the first two chapters because I think sometimes you get out of your book what you're going to get out of the book in the first couple chapters, and then that's all you need. And it was called Choose Your Enemies Wisely. And basically, the premise of the book was this: some of us are fueled by health and wellness and happy things. Most of us are driven by some kind of pain or agony, but almost all of us can find some kind of drive with proving people wrong or showing people that we can, or, hey, just watch me. And so it's a matter of choosing the right enemy for yourself that you're competing against. And I don't mean being enemies in the space. Maybe you choose that naysayer from junior high. Everybody knows Taylor Swift was bullied in school. And so some of her early fuel and songwriting was energized by those enemies that had chosen her and that she chose back. And so I would say, what's the enemy? Is the enemy debt? Is the enemy somebody that said you can't? Is the enemy an ex that talked down to you and made you question whether you could do it or not? Is the enemy your family has had cycles and cycles of poverty and you're pulling out of it? So I just thought, let's turn that into fuel for ourselves instead of thinking, oh, I need to be driven by this life of leisure or working less or making an impact. You will make an impact as a result of what you're doing, but you got to be driven first. You got to have a reason that's big enough. So we have to embrace mastery and reject misery and stop being comfortable being uncomfortable. And instead, we have to focus on, why does it matter? You have to make the money in your business matter. I'm going to say that again. You have to make the money in your business matter. If you have a full-time job, if your spouse has a full-time job, if you have child support or alimony or a nest egg somewhere, sometimes it's really easy to be lax building a new thing because it doesn't matter necessarily because we haven't made any money in it before. So I would say, first and foremost, you have to make that money matter. Assign it to something: a charity, a bill you're going to pay off, a new something, a medical treatment, plastic surgery. I don't care. I don't judge. Go get it nipped and tucked. It doesn't matter to me. I do have a client that was really excited once she got it in her head how much it was going to cost her to pay cash for a mom makeover. She worked her business like fire. It was so funny because once she made the money matter, it motivated her differently than just, "Ugh, have to reach out and get a client today." Part of my story is the year that I decided to give six figures towards adoptions and foster care and advocacy was our best year in business ever. Not because I cared what we were making or taking home, but because I knew what percentage that had to be of the overall gross. And every client I closed and every speaking engagement I had and everything, I knew what percentage of that went to adoptions and foster care and taking care of orphans. And that I worked all year for the kids, and it was different, and it was a different energy, and you couldn't hurt my feelings that year. Like, no, it didn't affect me that year. It was amazing. And so we hit record numbers in our business. So how can you make your money matter? If you're mad about politics, fund a candidate, contribute to political activists. If you're focused on feeding the hungry, find something you're passionate about and commit a number to that and work for that, because you'll work for that when you won't work for just extra money or just building a business or just getting around to it or just maybe an eventual change or that kind of a thing. Commit to something to your kids. One year when we were starting a new branch of the business, I told my kids, listen, guys, it's going to be a busy 6 months. mom's starting something new and this is what we're doing. And I was really committed to it. I said, but here's what we're going to do at the end of that 6 months. When we hit this goal as a family, then we're going to go to the Turks and Caicos and we're going to go to this all-inclusive resort. And that's where the Sesame Street characters live. Beaches. That's what it is. It's beaches at the Turks and Caicos. It's owned by Sandals. So the baby and the 3-year-old every day watch the beaches video where like Cookie Monster comes and gets you out of the car. You go bake cookies with them. You can dance with Zoe or Abigail, or which it's been a while now, but you guys know, listen, nothing will hold you more accountable than kids that have a goal. So commit to something and make it matter. That will help. What does your next client count for? What will that money be used for? You have to make it matter. And I would love to hear what bubbled up for you in the comments below while we're going through this coaching series. That's normally for clients. Next up, I want you to watch the video that pops up on the screen. Just click it, keep binging. Lowering your expectations might raise the roof on your results, and subtitle Why I Self-Manage Like a Toddler. All right, you're not going to want to miss that one. Click there and go now.